Hey bitches, it's Elle and welcome back to my channel. This week we are going to be learning how to wrap a UVDTF wrap on multiple different types and styles of tumblers. I have 3 different ones in this video. We have a plastic snow globe, we have a 16-ounce glass can, and then we have a 12-ounce thick stainless steel tumbler. I will have everything down below in the description box with a discount code that you guys can use to save on your purchases. And I just want to say thanks. Each and every week I am trying something new, and I couldn't do it without you guys. So y'all ready? Let's get it. All right, bitches. So this is a 16-ounce ombre jelly glass can and a 16-ounce UVDTF wrap. Both of these can be found at Sweary, Tumblers, and more, and I will have down below a code with her website. That's where you can find just about everything used in this video. Oh, you just saw me squeegeeing both sides of the UVDTF wrap. That is to make sure that the elements transfer over to that carrier sheet. I have a video in here where you will see where I had some issues. Before I moved into my hoe hut, I could just go straight in to applying my wraps, but now with a different environment, I have to squeegee and make sure. So once I get it squeegeed, I get my piece of painter's tape and I secure my wrap around the tumbler. I do this with everything. And then I will start to remove the backing, just about a 1/2 inch. We will remove that backing. We will get our scissors and we will cut it straight across. And once we get that secure on the tumbler, that's when we can begin to wrap. I post a lot of these in time lapse with a voiceover, and I am just seeing the influx in questions and people saying that they don't know how to do it. So that's why we're doing this week. So like I said, once you get that backing removed, we are going to place the UVDTF on the tumbler and we're going to rub it down. Once you got it stuck to the tumbler, this is where we are going to remove our painter's tape. We're going to rip off that painter's tape. Then we're going to lay our tumbler back on the cradle, and we are going to make sure that our elements are sticking completely before we start removing that backing. I'm just giving it a good rub. Now I am going to remove that backing, help it out just a little bit, and I'm going to use my finger and slowly start applying the wrap. As I am applying, you will see that back carrier sheet is starting to release. And this is why I recommend squeegeeing. So all the elements transfer over to the tumbler blank. This is also in real time. This is not in time lapse. Once we get to the other end, we're going to take that backing off completely and we are going to lift that top carrier sheet off and start pulling it away so we do not overlap the UVDTF wrap. And you see me pushing it down. I just want to make sure that everything is secure to the tumbler before we start removing this top carrier sheet. It is really this easy, guys. I see a lot of people have trouble with getting it on there straight. That is why I use the painter's tape. And I just pulled up a little bit of the skelly finger and I literally just rubbed it back down and it transferred. Now that little star element didn't transfer, bop, it's on there now. Easy peasy, and you're done. These ombre jelly cans come with a matching acrylic lid, so you can add rhinestones, glitter. It's literally that simple. It's done. Now we are going to wrap a 16-ounce plastic can snow globe. These are new that dropped last week at Sweary, Tumblers, and more. And the restock is already on its way, so we're pushing for next week. If not, it'll be the week after, but I'm pretty sure it's next week. But we're going to do the same exact thing. I am squeegeeing the front. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to squeegee the back. This is just to make sure all the elements transfer. The reason I am showing this one with the ombre glass can and this one being the same size, 16 ounces. They may be 16 ounces, but there still can be some differences. And on this one, I had to cut some elements off and place them after I wrap the wrap. So what you see me doing here is I am just wiping it with 91% alcohol, getting the fingerprints off. I didn't record that in the first one. And once that alcohol dries, which we know it dries really quick, we're going to get into getting this wrap lined up, taping it with painter's tape, and wrapping it. So I'm going to speed this up, and I'll see y'all soon. All right, now that I'm looking at it, I am looking at the overlap. A couple of my elements overlap. So I am looking which ones I need to remove. You just saw me point at them. I'm going to get my scissors and I'm going to carefully cut these leaf elements out. We're going to put them to the side, and after we get the snow globe wrapped, we are then going to lay them randomly. Usually, if I can't fit these elements, I'll stick them to the side. I'll take the elements and put it on my computer. I will stick it on my turners because they're permanent decals practically. And sometimes when you trim it, they won't fit back. Just giving that little pointer so you don't think it's waste. You can literally stick these anywhere. So we're going to go in and do the same method. We are going to wrap the wrap around the blank. We're going to snag our piece of painter's tape. We're going to slap it smack down the middle to hold the wrap securely in place. And then we get into wrapping it. We're going to remove that back carrier sheet 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Whatever sets your soul on fire. It really doesn't matter. We're going to cut it. And then we are going to use our hand. You can use a squeegee to apply the wrap to the tumbler. I'm going to speed this part up because it took me a little bit. But I was explaining these new snow globes because they were my first impression. All right, here you go. You see me flattening and rubbing down the exposed part of the wrap to get it on the tumbler. Once I get that nice and rubbed down, we're going to remove that painter's tape and we're going to start removing the backing and placing the UVDTF wrap onto the tumbler blank. Like I said, these are so easy. I'm going to place it on my cradle, release the backing just a little bit, and then we are going to start rubbing the wrap onto the blank. We're going to speed it up. See y'all soon. All right, I wanted to come to right here because this is plastic. The first one was glass. I wanted to show y'all it's still the same. The carrier sheet comes off just as easy. I am removing that carrier sheet so I can lay the rest of the wrap down on the blank. And here we go. We're just going to push it down. And you can see where I cut off those two elements on the top and the bottom. Once we get it pressed down, nice and secure, we're going to do the same thing. We are going to remove that top carrier sheet. And I would say, oop, it's done. But once we get this top carrier sheet off, we are going to add those two leaf elements onto the tumbler in those blank spots. All right, those two elements that we cut off and put to the side, here's what we're going to do. It's just like a sticker. You're going to remove that back carrier sheet. I don't know what you call that. You're going to remove that back sheet and you're going to look at your tumbler and you are going to fill in those empty spots with those elements. I had enough room to add the leaf at the top and the leaf at the bottom, no problems. And once you get those elements placed on the snow globe, on the blank, it's done. Easy peasy. I'm not going to show how to fill snow globes in this tutorial because I have one in the works. I want to show you guys how to fill, how to seal, how to pull that bubble, that air bubble out. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, we're going to get that laid and then go on to the next tumbler to show. And here this one is. It doesn't even look like we cut and removed any of the elements to get it to fit. Now let's get into the final one that I wanted to show. This one's a little fast. I've slowed it down. But you can even put UVDTF wraps over epoxy tumblers. Same way, same method. That one, it overlaps. So I had to cut out some elements. The smaller the tumbler, you may have to trim them up. Same thing, we're going to get that painter's tape, remove the backing, cut it, and apply. These UVDTF wraps can be used on anything. You can cut them up into pieces and randomly place them on 20 ounce, 30 ounce, 40 ounce tumblers. They even make wraps for the 40 ounces now. It is crazy. These are permanent. You do not have to seal them with epoxy as long as you apply them to a finished epoxy tumbler. If you want an epoxy, you can too. I do recommend sealing before going in with your epoxy. But these are so fun. You can mix and match them, and I will have some links dropped down below where you can find them. But here we go, removing that top carrier sheet. I did seal this with some Celestial Luster from Adhesive Apothecary, and I applied epoxy over it, and it looks so good. And this is a 14 ounce tumbler from Maker Flow, stainless steel. You can use these wraps on anything. I really hope this tutorial helps, and I can't wait to hear if you try them out. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And as always, let's get it.